The vast chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with nervous energy. Hundreds of representatives from across the known universe sat in concentric rings, their forms as varied as the stars themselves. Some floated in anti-gravity fields, others pulsed with bioluminescence, while still others appeared as shimmering holograms. At the center of it all, High Counselor HFY, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate crystalline structure, called for order. The chamber fell silent, save for the occasional rustle of an appendage or the soft whir of translation devices. Esteemed colleagues. HFY's voice resonated. We face a crisis unprecedented in our 100,000 years of peace. The Cry-Lathor Dominion has violated our non-aggression accords. They have seized 3 peaceful worlds in the Orion arm, and their war fleets amass at the borders of a dozen more. A cacophony of alarmed whispers and electromagnetic pulses swept through the chamber. The FG Torp representative, a gelatinous mass of neural tissue, oozed forward. Surely there must be some misunderstanding. The Cry-Lathor have always been reasonable in negotiations. I'm afraid not, HFY replied, projecting images of burning worlds and fleeing refugees. Their demands are clear: submit or be conquered. The Volux ambassador, an insectoid being, chittered nervously. Perhaps if we offer them resource concessions, surely we can appease their aggression without further bloodshed. Agreement rippled through the chamber. Concepts like war and conquest were foreign to most species present, relics of their distant evolutionary past. Then, a voice cut through the murmurs. Appeasement won't work. It never does. All eyes, stalks, and sensory organs turned to the source. Ambassador Chen Wei stood up, her human form looking deceptively fragile among the alien delegates. In the decades since humanity's admission to the Galactic Council, they had been a curiosity, respected for their adaptability, but often overlooked in major decisions. The Cry-Lathor have shown their hand, Chen continued, her voice steady. They respect only strength. If we give in now, they'll only demand more later. We must stand firm. We must fight back. A shocked silence fell over the chamber, broken by the High Counselor. Ambassador Chen, surely you don't mean war. Chen nodded grimly. That's exactly what I mean. Humanity volunteers to lead the military response. We'll assemble a coalition force, strike back at the Cry-Lathor, and liberate the conquered worlds. The chamber erupted in chaos. The very notion of intentionally engaging in organized violence was abhorrent to most species present. Yet, as the humans had learned since joining galactic society, sometimes the greatest culture shock came not from alien appearances, but from alien ways of thinking. As the council debated furiously, Chen stood firm. She knew that her proposal would be met with resistance, even revulsion. But she also knew that in the face of an enemy that only understood force, humanity's long, dark history with warfare might just prove to be the galaxy's salvation. The fate of civilizations hung in the balance, and humanity was ready to show the stars why they had survived their own violent past. The Cry-Lathor were about to learn a harsh lesson: when humans go to war, they don't stop until the job is done. The council chamber had emptied hours ago, but the echoes of heated debate still seemed to linger in the air. Ambassador Chen stood at a vast viewport, gazing out at the glittering expanse of the galaxy. Her mind wandered back to humanity's first steps onto the cosmic stage, barely 2 decades earlier. First contact had been a moment of jubilation for Earth. The arrival of the Galactic Council's envoys had ushered in an era of unprecedented peace and technological advancement for humanity. But as humans shared their history with their new alien friends, they discovered something unexpected: shock and horror. The aliens had been fascinated by human culture, art, and ingenuity. But when it came to human history, particularly military history, their reaction had been one of revulsion and disbelief. The concept of organized warfare was alien to most council species. They had evolved past violence, solving conflicts through negotiation, shared consciousness, or complex mathematical equations. Humanity's penchant for warfare, their ability to mobilize entire populations for conflict, and their relentless drive in the face of adversity were seen as barbaric, yet terrifyingly efficient. It had taken years of diplomacy to convince the Council that humans had moved beyond their warlike past. Now, ironically, It was that very history that might save the galaxy. Chen's reminiscence was interrupted by a soft chime. She turned to see High Counselor Zixelvian's crystalline form hovering nearby. "The Council has deliberated." Ambassador Chen, the energy being's voice, resonated softly. "With great reluctance, we have agreed to your proposal. The defense of the galaxy will be entrusted to humanity." Chen nodded solemnly. "Thank you, High Counselor. We won't let you down." As Zixelvian departed, Chen activated her comm unit. "It's time," she spoke into the device. "Operation Bastion is a go." Across the galaxy, humanity sprang into action with a swiftness that left their alien allies in awe. Ships that had been disguised as freighters and research vessels revealed hidden weapon systems. Civilian stations transformed into military strongholds. From Earth, a flood of volunteers poured into recruitment centers, ready to defend not just their homeworld, but all of known space. On 100 worlds, humans worked alongside alien allies, upgrading defenses and preparing for the coming storm. The Cry-Lathor's aggression had awakened a sleeping giant, and the galaxy was about to witness the full might of human military-industrial complex. Alien observers watched in fascination and fear as humans moved with purpose and precision. There was no panic, no chaos, just a grim determination that seemed to unite every human, from fresh recruits to seasoned veterans. In orbital shipyards, vessels of war took shape at an astonishing pace. Weapons long dormant were reactivated, and new ones were forged using a fusion of human ingenuity and alien technology. As the preparations neared completion, Chen stood before the assembled fleet. Ships of human design formed the core, flanked by vessels from a dozen alien races who had chosen to stand with humanity against the Cry-Lathor threat. "We go to war," Chen addressed the vast army, her words translated and broadcast across the fleet. "Not for glory, not for conquest, but for the defense of all free beings in this galaxy. We fight so that others may know peace." A thunderous cheer erupted from the human forces, while their alien allies watched in a mixture of awe and trepidation. The galaxy was about to witness war on a scale it had never seen before, and at its heart stood humanity, determined, united, and ready to remind the cosmos why they had survived their own violent history. The Cry-Lathor had awoken a slumbering warrior race, and humans, as the galaxy was about to learn, don't stop until the fight is won. The vast emptiness of space erupted into a dazzling display of destructive energy as the human-led coalition engaged the Cry-Lathor forces. Beams of coherent light sliced through the void, while swarms of missiles left fiery trails in their wake. The battle for the Orion arm had begun. Admiral Sarah Chen, sister of Ambassador Chen, stood on the bridge of the HSS Indomitable, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of the unfolding conflict. Around her, human officers worked in concert with alien allies, each bringing unique strengths to the fight. "Cry-Lathor forces are adapting to our initial assault," reported Commander Zix, a Volux tactical officer. His compound eyes flickered with concern. They're fighting back harder than anticipated." Admiral Chen nodded grimly. "They thought this would be easy. Time to show them it won't be. All ships, initiate maneuver Theta 9. The human fleet moved with a fluidity that belied the massive scale of their ships. Vessels that seemed lumbering and ungainly suddenly executed precise, coordinated movements. The Cry-Lathor, unused to such dynamic tactics, found their formation shattered. On a dozen worlds, human ground forces engaged the invaders. The aliens watched in awe as humans displayed a level of adaptability and tenacity that bordered on the supernatural. Where the Cry-Lathor expected easy victories, they found themselves mired in grueling conflicts against an enemy that refused to yield. Weeks turned into months. The Cry-Lathor, once confident in their superiority, found themselves pushed back on every front. Yet still, the humans pressed on. In the council chambers, alien representatives watched the war unfold with a mixture of gratitude and growing unease. "The humans have liberated the conquered worlds," mused High Counselor Zixelvian. "Surely now they will seek a ceasefire." The FG Torp representative quivered anxiously. "I've spoken with Ambassador Chen. She says the humans won't stop until the Cry-Lathor threat is completely neutralized. They speak of unconditional surrender. A ripple of shock passed through the chamber. The concept of total victory was as alien to them as warfare itself had once been. Back on the front lines, the human forces continued their relentless advance. The Cry Lathor, their initial bravado shattered, sent envoys suing for peace. To their shock, the humans refused anything short of complete surrender. But why a Cry Lathor diplomat pleaded before Admiral Chen? "You've won. We'll retreat to our borders. Why continue this violence?" Admiral Chen's eyes were steel as she replied, "Because if we stop now, you'll only regroup and try again. This ends today, permanently." As the human fleets pushed towards the Cry Lathor homeworlds, their alien allies watched with growing unease. The precision and efficiency with which humans waged war was a terrible thing to behold. There was no malice, no cruelty, just an implacable determination to see the conflict through to its ultimate conclusion. In the face of humanity's unyielding advance, the Cry Lathor's will to fight crumbled. Their surrender, when it came, was total and unconditional. As the guns fell silent and the ships powered down their weapons, a palpable sense of relief swept through the galaxy. The threat had been neutralized, peace restored. But as the alien races of the Galactic Council looked upon their human saviors, a new emotion began to take hold: fear. For they had witnessed firsthand the awesome and terrible potential of humanity unleashed. And they began to wonder what would happen if these formidable allies ever became enemies. In the war room of the HSS Indomitable, Admiral Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Mission accomplished," she said softly. "Let's go home." Little did she know that even as victory celebrations began, the Galactic Council was convening an emergency session. The topic: what to do about the humans. The Galactic Council chamber was packed to capacity. Representatives from every corner of known space had gathered for what promised to be a historic session. At the center, Ambassador Chen stood tall, her posture relaxed but alert, a stark contrast to the nervous energy permeating the room. High Counselor Zyxolvian's crystalline form pulsed with a soft blue light as they called the session to order. "Esteemed colleagues, we are here to discuss the recent conflict and its implications for our galactic community." A chorus of voices filled the chamber, a mix of praise and concern. The Volux ambassador stepped forward, mandibles clicking. "We cannot deny the effectiveness of the human military response. They saved us all from the Cry Lathor threat. At what cost?" countered the FG Torp representative, their gelatinous form rippling with agitation. "The level of violence we witnessed, it was beyond comprehension." Ambassador Chen listened quietly, her expression neutral. She had anticipated this reaction. The debate raged for hours. Some praised humanity's decisive action, while others expressed deep concern over their capacity for warfare. The humans' refusal to accept anything less than total victory was a particular point of contention. Finally, Zyxolvian turned to Chen. "Ambassador, would you care to address the council?" Chen stepped forward, her voice clear and steady. "Esteemed members of the council, I understand your concerns. Humanity's history is marked by conflict, yes, but it's also a history of overcoming, of striving for peace. We fight not because we love war, but because we understand its cost all too well." She paused, looking around the chamber. "We fight so that others don't have to. We push for total victory not out of bloodlust, but to ensure that the peace that follows is lasting." A murmur ran through the assembly. Chen's words were compelling, but the memory of human warfare was still fresh in their minds. After much deliberation, High Counselor Zyxolvian announced the Council's decision in light of recent events. "We have decided that henceforth, humanity will be barred from engaging in direct military action within Galactic Council space." Chen's eyebrows rose in surprise. Zyxolvian continued, however, "In recognition of their unique abilities, humans will be appointed as peacekeepers and advisors. Their very presence will serve as a deterrent against future aggressions." The decision was met with a mix of relief and approving nods. The galaxy would have the protection of humanity's martial prowess without the fear of it being unleashed. As the session adjourned, Chen found herself surrounded by a mix of grateful and wary alien diplomats. An elderly Volux approached her, his compound eyes shimmering with an emotion Chen couldn't quite identify. "You know," he chittered softly, "there's an old saying among my people, the most terrifying guardian is the one who knows the true cost of violence." Chen nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "We have a similar saying on Earth, Civis pacem, parabellum if you want peace, prepare for war." As she left the chamber, Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of irony. Humanity had been banned from war precisely because of how effectively they waged it. Yet in doing so, they had perhaps found their true place in the galaxy not as conquerors, but as protectors. The humans' reputation would spread across the stars, a species so formidable in battle that their mere presence ensured peace. Warlike civilizations would think twice before disrupting the galactic harmony, knowing that somewhere out there, humanity was watching, ready to remind the cosmos why they don't start fights they can't finish. And in the great annals of galactic history, a new chapter had been written. Humanity banned from war, yet guardians of peace. The species that doesn't stop, and that's exactly why the galaxy sleeps safely under their vigilant watch. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you loved it. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it so you can see more videos like this. And please give us a like and a comment too. I'll see you in the next one.